Welcome everybody, welcome to Flat Earth Philosophy. Another video that describes the earth we live in, the realm we live in. Not ever told before. My site describes all the information straight from the ancients. How they all knew the world was flat. Never believe the globe people who tell you that we've known earth is flat for 2,000 years, because that's utter lies. It's all documented, it's all written, but it's an esoteric form. No one can click onto. I'm lucky enough to understand what they're saying, so I described the whole model in my videos. So this is just another one, and this one's about the flat earth maps. Understanding the flat earth maps, so flat earthers can understand what's going on in relation to the globe model. And it all equates, it all makes sense if you can just understand what I'm saying. Now these notes here are basically for me. You don't have to read them, just listen to what I'm saying. So you'll learn a lot from this video, I'm pretty sure. So it's about the Gleason map, the Mercator map, and how we come about with the globe idea. The indoctrination system. So the Gleason map, understanding the Gleason map as an azimuthal equidistant toroidal field expressed from its centre hyperboloid out from the centre, which is like the apple stem. Out from that centre is coming out of the hyperboloid centre is the expressed field, is the toroidal field. And a toroidal field is a returning field. So the North Pole has a South Pole, but the South Pole is just a returning North Pole, hence why it's mirrored. But we'll get into that. That's a bit of a story to behold. So the Gleason map, the expanding field of Earth's torus, out from its centre. Land masses have to expand on the map to represent time travelled relative to that latitude. So time is all about the magnetic field and the flow of the stars, and this all comes back to the atomic clocks and stuff. This is why we know the GP points of all this, or a lot of celestial, more than 50 celestial bodies, which were once called satellites, the stars. Their GP points on the Earth to the precise second. This is what atomic timekeeping is all about. Following the stars. So, and this relates to general relativity, curved linear, etc. Which is all flippin' hoo-ha if you only taught the students about the toroidal field of our flat Earth. Okay? So, this is what's happening. We've got this magnetic field coming out of the north, and its mirrored image in the southern field. Every man has an arc of horizon. It's called an arc of horizon. It's his view. He will always get a northern view and a southern view, depending on where he is in latitude, of course, because you can't see the whole thing in one night. And so we've all heard of the rhumb lines, or if you don't, go look it up. You've got the rhumb lines, and they'll draw this picture of the globe and the rhumb lines, or the spider in celestial navigation. But they never show you this one down here, do they? No, that's their secret. They don't want you to know about that one. That's the returning field. This is why every man has a mirrored effect on his horizon. Like in the southern hemisphere, if you're a southerner, you'll get this star trail rotation around Sigma Octantis, which is a slice, a segment, because it's on you have your own meridian, north to south. Anywhere out here, you're always in the line between north and south. You'll get a slice, a segment of the northern hemisphere rotation. Because the stars in the star trail out here aren't doing a full 360, they just do a percentage of a rotation, then they fade out, because what they're doing is actually wandering west, because they wander all the way around the Earth to come back to where they were the night before, just 4 minutes behind the Sun, because the Sun's 4 minutes ahead each day. So that star rotation is always a circular image, because back at the centre of Earth, right back in here, there's already a full-time central rotation, which is the central vortex of creation, which reflects the image out south. So no matter where you are out south, you will always get a mirrored image out here. And the globies, they'll deny all this, but that's a segment of the star pattern in here. So you've got to find the segment at that time, and even pinpointing the stars will be tricky because the southern field is much bigger. It's an expanded view of the northern hemisphere. Okay, this is wider out here. This is the expression of a toroidal field. It expands. So the whole field expands as it goes out, equidistantly, azimuthally. It's like this and returns back. But we don't live under here. It's a flat plane of inertia. It's another story, but I've done many videos on that. So Earth is a flat plane of inertia through the centre of the toroidal field. And what we need to understand is between these arcs of longitude, time is the same. Time is the same. So the map has to express the wider width of the Earth, because we're travelling quicker in that gap out here. It's all relative to the person on the latitude, the observer out there. So he's crossing more territory in the time back here, although it's all relative to the observer. So everything expands in the field, but the Earth / terra firma is fixed and stationary. This is why it's written in the Bible that the Earth is fixed and stationary. It doesn't mention anything about the toroidal field or the well, they don't talk about the snake in that way, but it's basically why it's written like that, because the Earth is fixed and stationary. Everything else over it moves and expands. Okay, so we're in that field, so we're expanding. Hence why we get across the Earth quicker as we expand out south. It's a very tricky one for the humans to understand, that we are creatures of the light. Everything is of light. In water, we expand in the field. It's just the godly thing. So the Earth is fixed and stationary. Therefore, we are moving across Earth quicker out south than an observer from the north. If he could see us, but he cannot, because each latitude is relative to the observer. He has no concept of difference between latitudes. Hence the Mercator map. Mercator map, equal lines of arcs of longitude, which are meridians, just as man has one called his arc of horizon, all around him. It should be. This is a meridian. So this is a Mercator map. So these meridians come from, this is a meridian through here. They're just all around there. No matter where you are, you're on a meridian, north to south. And it's a nice 180 degree arc. Okay? So this is how they determine nautical miles and arc minutes. It's all related to this. But then we're humans, we're like a mini-me of the Earth. So we get our own. A smaller version which sits in here anywhere. A circle within a circle. Remember Enoch? So we get this effect too. It is 360 degrees around us. This is how we can do our celestial navigation. Nothing to do with the globe. We're always standing right here. Check out my videos on Euclid's fifth postulate. 5 postulates. So, what have we got here? So we've got the magnetic field coming out of here, which is we know that science tells you, it shows you the rhumb lines and everything. There's the mirrored effect out here. There's one everywhere around here. Everybody out here will see one. That's his line, that's the meridian, that's his arc of horizon. Many spirals out south, but only one in the north. So the spiral in here is a slice of that out here. But it's always a full rotation because you're getting this image rotation here. It's just which stars are being shown in the rotation to be mirrored back out here. So understanding the clock. How am I going to, let's read this, shall we? Time dilation is a load of rubbish brought about by the fact they know Earth's torus field expands out from its centre. They call the gravitational field. So if out south has expanded field, then time must speed up to cross the Earth in an expanded field. But they then assume time has slowed down for the observer because he is in an expanded field relative to the observer in the north who has a smaller field. But it is all relative to the observer in his north to south latitude, because the field / time comes out of the centre north, just like a clock or a clock arm. So the time hasn't changed. This time out here is the same time as anywhere back here. Okay? So when it comes to the sun doesn't project, the projector's in here. The actual sun is back here. We just all see images because the sun is in many places but only seen in one, and that's with your pupils in your arc of horizon. Doesn't matter if the guy's 2 meters away from you and he sees his own, sees one as well. That's his own. It's all relative to the position back here as it's reflected out, but the sun projection isn't straight, it's curved. It curves in these lines here. These are the time zones. So wherever this spiral moves around, I've actually drawn these that way and then I've drawn those that way. So consider they're all swinging west, okay? And so if you're out in the southern hemisphere, you'll be seeing the sun come around like this. It's easily proved. You can see it coming from the southeast in the summer solstice. Anyone out south can see it. Or any time of the year, just track the first stars in the evening. They come from the southeast, from out here, and they come around. And you can track it. Southeast, east, northeast, north, then all the way across your horizon. Then they start going west, southwest, south. That's how it works. It's a mirrored effect. A returning northern field. Okay? So, onto the Mercator map. Time and atomic clock keeping. It's about this. Now, the Mercator map. Why all the lines parallel? Because these distances in between here are the same. They use all this in navigation. See, moving across the earth in ships and that. It's all this system because they know it's all equal in arcs of longitude. Why these latitudes are different like this is because it's about time. So a lot of time is wasted in here. So you stretch the latitude, right? We don't get down here. This is where we get stopped, I think. But see how they get closer and closer to the middle here, because the magnetic field goes like this and shoots down at the tropic. This is the Tropic of Capricorn out south. That's the Tropic of Cancer in the north. The field goes there, then drops straight down through the earth. Comes through the earth, then comes back up this way to come out like this. But bear in mind there's a positive and a negative. There's a positive flow over the earth, the negative goes through under the earth. And this back and forth creates the sun's analemma. So while we have a shorter distance in latitude here, it's because at the equator is a direct north to south compass bearing. You're not distorted by the curving magnetic field of Earth in these regions. Between the tropics is direct. This is where you don't need a laser gyroscope, because it'll take you direct anyway. So if you follow the compass bearing, you're going to do this curve. But this is why we use the laser gyros nowadays. You avoid this curve and you can get a direct setting. So if you want to get to the north, say centre north there, you just go straight. Avoiding the islands and the rocks. That's how it works. So these are the two magnetic fields. But this is just for visual appearance, but in reality, if you could look down on Earth, you'll find this is very small in here, very big out here, because it's expanded outward. But for travelling purposes and a map, this is how it would be. They can easily figure out the distances. All you have to do is plaster the continents in here, bearing in mind how long it takes to get across the land. That's easy figured out, isn't it? So they draw the maps in there. So this is the Mercator map, the cylindrical design. Understanding that, and then you start to query the how it all contracts back at the top or the bottom. But there's no contracting back. It's just the way it is. You're up here, that distance in there is the same as back here. If you leave out these curving fields. So you've got to understand the difference between the fixed and stationary flat plane of Earth and the moving magnetic field if you're following compasses. So this is a bit freaky when you think about it, because this design here is what you can use now with a laser gyro. How did they know this without knowing the laser gyro? Without having a laser gyro back in the 1500s. You know, Mercator drew this up in the mid 1500s. And this was late 1800s, I think. Because this all makes sense today. Ignoring the magnetic field, because we're not using compass. If we don't use a compass, just use the laser, the gyros. Hope you understand that. So anyway, the converging point. We can't get to the dead centre of Earth, north. Despite what they tell you, we cannot. So we don't get to appreciate the shrinking up there. All we're left with is this field right up to about here, knowing it's an equal distance to get from A to B is the same as getting from A to B back here. But then when it comes down to the Arctic, we know the Arctic is somewhat 56,000 kilometres. Antarctic, sorry. And I think as far as we can get up here is like 16,000 kilometres. So there is a difference. And this 56,000 kilometres is the merging of the returning southern field. So you have to imagine these fields all appear out here in man's arc of horizon. So if he leaves anywhere around the flat Earth, he comes to this point. But this point, you get lost in the circle here, you've lost your magnetic connection, start losing your mind if you didn't know anything. And you find all this is connected, they all connect. That's a freaky one for the human mind to understand, but it's all connected around this 56,000 kilometres. You'll all end up blah 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 in la la land. You'll just be going north, east or west. So it all merges around that 56,000 kilometres. So it's all about time, okay? Time. Wasted east to west. So north-south latitude is less. The toroidal curving magnetic field is the time compared to crossing the fixed and stationary plane of Earth. This is why they give us a globe model, because of the expansion out of the north but south is mirrored on every meridian. Every man's meridian is a mirrored image. So it expands out, the expression of the toroidal field expands out to the tropics, and then you've got the mirrored effect here. So your star trail here will look the same size as the star trail down here for this guy. It's a mirror. So this is why they show you the globe, because it gives you the mirror effect. But they're trying to tell you, they want you to believe there's only one system there and one system there, and they're equal. Well, that's not how a magnetic field works, so there's a total lie there. If anybody thinks, they need to think. They need to watch my videos and realise the magnetic fields are not equal. That's a 3:2 ratio. Just like the human foot. There's another story. Be watching for that video. It's a 3:2 ratio. 2 and 3 on every meridian, say. So you cannot have an equal magnetic field. They're not equal. There'd be no life on Earth if it was equal. There has to be that ratio for the fields to both chase each other, to find equilibrium. Some finds equilibrium, but it cannot all find equilibrium, because all life would cease to exist, because we live in that electrical magnetic field. Who has seen the rung lines, okay, or spider web in celestial navigation? Do they draw the bottom? No, they do not. They avoid that, don't they? Why? Because they don't want you to know. So there is one spiral out of the north, but many out south, that connect east to west, or vice versa, around the 56,000 kilometre coastline of Antarctica. So the magic comes out of there, but we would like to experience what happens here, but you won't really find much, because every man will just go out there, you lose compass bearing, and that's it. You can follow the coastline all the way around, and maybe meet another person this way, another ship. You can do that, but there's no need, because I'm telling you what's happening. This is what's going to happen. It's right there, and no one can get beyond a certain point in the north, because the pressure, everything's about pressure. We're contained in a container. There's pressure. We come against the force field. Eventually you will die. It's written in one of the esoteric messages or texts that if you go there, you will surely die. If you go to the ends of the earth, you will surely die. And you will, because you cannot survive out there. We are created back here to stay here within this field. We cannot leave. So we'll look down here. A torus field is Earth's expressed magnetic field that leaves its centre hyperboloid to return back to itself. The South Pole is merely a returning North Pole. Hence why every South Pole, because there are many, is a mirrored effect in every man's arc of horizon. Each returning southern star trail, each turning southern star trail around Sigma Octantis is a segment of the turning northern star rotation. This is getting a segment of this side of the rotation. Everything comes out from this place beyond the event horizon, the place of creation that we do not know. This is all about metaphysics. No scientist is going to teach you this, because it's metaphysical. It's all hidden knowledge, but it all equates and describes the whole realm we live in. This is what all the ancient philosophical books are about. Even the Trojan War is all about this. It's all metaphysics. Trojan War, that's mind-blowing. You've got Plato, you've got Pythagoras, Euclid's geometry. Check out my last video. Euclidean geometry. Why man can't even understand that. So what do? They go off and develop non-Euclidean geometry. You're creating this sphere to carry on the storytelling. No, the fake, the comedy. I shouldn't call it a story, the comedy. So there you have it, folks. I hope you understand the difference now. The Gleason map is an association with the Mercator map and why they come with this globe idea. But understanding the meridians that come from there to there is an overall big picture of man's arc of horizon, because man is a mini-me of the Earth system. His brain has two hemispheres. This flat Earth system has two hemispheres, because within this arc, within this meridian, you've got the tropical gap. That creates the gap between the two hemispheres, just like in the human brain. And then there is the magic, which is the sun seen in the tropical gap. And what do we have? The son of man, his pineal gland. It only becomes a son when he's enlightened, when he wakes up and realizes all this stuff here. So this should be used in conjunction with this, because there's an expanding toroidal field out from its center. And understanding the magnetic field, the way it flows like this, forever turning like this in the north, and this one in the south does one full 360 rotation all the way around the center north. Okay, that's it, everybody. So watch out for my next video. I think it will be about the connection between the human body and understanding the flat earth model, to understand what the human body is doing concerning walking. Why is walking good for the human mind? And there's all this connection between the flat earth and the human body. So watch out for that one. And if you don't mind, put a like, thumbs up, and if you don't understand what I'm talking about, put a thumbs up anyway. So someone else down the road might think more clearer than you and understand it, and we're enlightening that person. He might be able to help you out. So the further this video gets, far and wide, the better for everybody. See, I'm supposed to have nearly 5,000 subscribers, yet you might only get a few hundred people watching the video, and only 10% of them put up a like. So where are all these people? Are they, if you're going to see the video, you don't understand it, like it anyway. Maybe show it to someone else and he can explain it to you. Obviously, no globe is going to push a like. They're not going to share it. Most of them are paid trolls on my site from the Globe fraternity. And they don't want to know this, they don't want to understand, and they don't want to agree with anything. So it's up to you guys to get the truth out, okay? Cheers.